Are you serious? Are you serious? Grab some coffee. Calm down. I mean, are you serious? California, calm down. But they're going to split the state of California maybe 3 ways. That is a proposal, and it's on the ballot. Now, you guys might remember back in February, I think it was, late January, early February, I had on my show Robert Newman. He was running for governor of California as a Republican. He did not win his primary, but I had dinner with him and his wife and his sister. I mean, they're wonderful people. And he had a great vision for California, a Christian. Matter of fact, he even has a book out called My Journey, My Stand. It's a great read, He's a fascinating individual for sure. Very brilliant, a doctor and a farmer, just a great guy. But anyway, he's been working with several others in trying to create a new state of California. They're tired of being this high taxation without representation. They're tired of the nickel and diming and all of this chaos that's been created by Jerry Brown and some of the other left-wing leaning liberals in California. But his proposal has not got to the ballot. Instead, there's another one, and it has. California, they're going to vote about whether they'd like to divide California 3 ways. Matter of fact, the report just coming out over at the Los Angeles Times, and here's what it says about dividing up California. California's 168-year run as a single entity is hugging all along that continent's edge for hundreds of miles and sprawling east across the mountains and the desert. It may come to an end next year as this controversial plan to split the golden state of California into 3 states. It has qualified. It will be on the ballot. They're going to vote on it this November 6th. They're going to vote on it this November 6th. Now, if the majority of the voters who cast the ballots agree, a long, contentious process would then begin for separating California into 3 states. One primary centered around Los Angeles would be 1 state, 2 others, the north and then the south. And you can look at my thumbnail and you can see how they divide it. And actually what would happen is this. The Northern California is what they would call it, would have Sacramento and San Francisco and everything all the way to the north would be in Northern California. Southern California would include Fresno and Bakersfield, Riverside and San Diego would all be in everything over. That would be called the South. But right along the coast, there would be a 3rd state. It would remain California. And it would still have the cities of Monterey and Los Angeles. Okay? So every state would have major cities. Every state would have coastal areas. But California would really be nothing but pure urban, metropolitan, sprawling along the coast. And that's really what California would be. So will this pass? There's a real strong chance it can, because what will happen is the Northern California folks, they're tired of paying for all the amenities and everything else that goes on along the coastal areas of the major cities. So I can see all those folks voting yes. The Southern California bunch, I can see them voting yes, because again, there's a lot of folks that don't want to pay for a lot of the stuff that goes on in California, and so they would probably say yes as well. California itself might say no. The group that would be called California, everyone in there might say, there might be a lot of no's there, because they really, they would be hurting for some of the cash they would need. So And there's a big populace there. Huge amount of people live there in this, even though it'd be a smaller state, a very small state as far as land, but very populous. So this is a really fascinating situation. This could go any way, and this is going to be real close. It's a popular vote, so however it winds up, whoever hits the most votes, if it's yes or no, I mean, however they're going to word it on the ballot, but it will be a ballot. Now, Robert Newman, who first talked a lot about dividing California into two states, this is similar to what he talked about. But basically what he wanted was just two states and leave that California coast just pretty well like they have it here, but let North and South all be one state. His folks had already, he talks about this in his book, My Journey, My Stand. And plus, he's just a fascinating guy. You'll love it. Great Christian, and a great patriot. But it would be the first division of any existing U.S. state since the creation of West Virginia back in 1863. 3 states would get us better infrastructure, better education, lower taxes, says Tim Draper from Silicon Valley venture capitalist who sponsored the ballot measure and said in an email to the Times last summer when he formally submitted the proposal. States would be more accountable to us and can cooperate and compete for citizens. And he would also force, I think, California to start lowering taxes. What they're doing is they're just charging people outrageous, not only state taxes, but they nickel and dime them on gas tax and utilities tax and plant tax and grass tax and water tax. And you wouldn't believe it, the taxes that's in California. It's driving the people insane. Well, this would cause some competitiveness, which could help lower some of that. I can tell you another state that might want to really consider dividing, and that would be Chicago. The city of Chicago should probably become its own entity and let the rest of the state of Illinois manage itself, because actually the rest of the state of Illinois is a great state and could manage itself and could be in a surplus instead of in deficits, major deficits they're being drugged down by the mismanagement of the city of Chicago that's gone on forever. And under Rahm Emanuel, it's the worst in history. But that's another time. And I'm just throwing it out there to my neighbors over in Illinois. Just throwing it out there to you. Might be a good thing. Some of you in Springfield should really consider that. If you're tired of having to pick up the tab for Chicago all the time. Now, there's a lot of wonderful people in Chicago. The people are great, but the political machine goes way back. The Daley machines, the Father, the Son, and everybody else involved. The gangsters, the mobs, everybody involved. I mean, I don't even want to go down there. So anyway, this is fascinating. Let's watch and see what happens. But what would it do to the flag if California votes to divide 3 ways? Then you wouldn't have 50 stars. You'd have 51. No, you'd have 52 stars on that flag. And if you're going to do that, why don't we just make Puerto Rico a state? I mean, they deserve it. That would give us 53 stars. And how about the U.S. Virgin Islands? It's time for them to be a state. That would put 54. I don't know. We could grab some more but what do you do with the state? Would anybody stand for the flag if we get too many stars? What? Are you serious? Pray for America and pray for California. I think instead of dividing the state 3 ways, just get rid of Jerry Brown and all the rest of the clowns that are in the state legislature, those that are causing trouble.